Hi. Today, I wanted to share about a theme that's so relevant in the collective right now and also have been coming up in individual sessions a lot. And that is about doubting. And in terms of the collective, I feel it's so important at this time to be questioning, to be doubting, to be really be skeptical about all that's happening around us. And I think it's hard not to be. So it serves a really important purpose. But doubt can also be make us suffer a lot. So, as I now find out, doubt is sitting in the deep neurocircuitry of our brain. So we do have this as a natural biological feature. And it is kind of like a mental pressure for us that we kind of are driven to relieve. So we kind of want to find some way of relieving this doubt that naturally happens. So in a sense, we're like questioning things and we are driven to find answer to it. And it might sound a bit detrimental to us, but it is actually how we evolve. And this all happens in the left side of our brain, in the logical part of our brain. So we do have this biological drive to relieve doubt, in a sense, to search for answers. And it is important, but then again, it can take on different shapes and forms. So, for example, we can kind of get in a loop with, you can say, overthinking. I'm also going to throw in some astrology here, is typically connected to Mercury and Gemini, to like searching for these dots, searching for knowledge. And you find one answer and then another question comes up and you find one answer. And this kind of looping behavior is, of course, accentuated with AI chat bots and even Google. And like we get into these loops because there's never going to be an answer that will relieve this doubt permanently. That's not going to happen. So in that Gemini movement, and this is also important because Gemini is not permanently, but it's stepping into Uranus is stepping into Gemini here in April. So that's gonna, I think, both accentuate maybe this movement, but also help us to get to what I'm talking about in this video, basically, sort of how to liberate ourselves from these maybe shadow aspects of this energy, of this looping, of this overactivity, in a sense. And then, of course, this doubt can also go, like I start to identify with this doubt. So it becomes self-doubt. This is more of a Virgo trait, where this is also a Mercury-ruled sign, but in Gemini, it's more of an outwardly expressed feature. Virgo is more of an inwardly expressed feature. So we take it upon ourselves. We become self-doubt, and that's where these questions about am I good enough, like the search for perfection, in a sense. So this is, of course, can create a lot of suffering, and also usually intertwined with like some deeper patternings. We also have the doubt in terms of repressing doubt. That's also a strategy. We try to hang on to maybe a false reality, in terms of false that we might try to convince ourselves to believe in it, but not all of our system are believing that it's true. This is like dogmas. This is sects. This is kind of could also be translated into herd consciousness in a way, because we stop questioning things. We can't become kind of lazy. And when we repress this doubt, we stop evolving. So that is not good either. And then it can be this kind of outwardly expressed version where there's anger based in fear, where we are suspicious of everyone, both like intimate partners or friends or family or society as a whole. So all of these versions is, of course, creating suffering. There is, of course, this doubt around, do I actually dare to state my opinion or like keep my healthy boundary, and like basically the fear of losing relations in one way or the other, which is very much connected to Libra. And then, which is also very activated because we have the Aries, as we all know, the Aries sign at the moment very activated because the sun is there, but also Saturn and Neptune and the Chiron, which is actually bringing up woundings in this end of the spectra. Aries is otherwise, the balanced version of Aries is the one who knows what they want. Kind of this like assertive, which is kind of an inspiration in all of this. But since we have such a lot of activation there right now, especially with Chiron, the wounded healer, so that brings up also the question, am I allowed to take up space? Kind of because it's dealing with the I am. So am I like enough to take up space? And there's also Chiron returns for a lot of people born like late 70s, early 80s. So might bring it up even more. So there's a lot of versions that this doubt can create suffering. So what can we do about this? And just like with everything, everyone has their unique journey. I really do believe that. In my experience, it starts like with most things, it starts by creating the space within. Being more in the present, creating more like silence, moments of silence. And this can be done in many ways. But the whole thing, since we are like overactive in the left side of the brain, we kind of need to move into the right side of the brain to create this balance. And when we create, I've seen this so many times, when we start to create this space, which is pretty much the first step, instead of this doubt that tends to be more like negative, we can cultivate step by step this observer. I want to also name it the explorer, because it brings in this curiosity. And we start to, instead of doubting, inquire, starting to kind of explore ourselves. Are there any patterns in my doubt, in the part that actually creates suffering? Are there any, when does it happen, in what situations, and so on? So that is one like way of start exploring, and which requires space. And also using practices. This can be both unconscious, which is where I use hypnosis to get to those unconscious parts of us. And then there's also start moving the energy, start moving the emotions. And by starting to move the emotions, we can face basically our fears, like preferably with a lot of compassion, and move through them. So that voice, that doubtful voice, don't get that loud. So simultaneously, we kind of lower that voice and raise this other part of us that can allow for uncertainty. And I find the word wonderment a beautiful place to have like an intention to go to, because that's like to kind of allow this doubt to be there, but go beyond into wonderment, which I find, for me, that is where we kind of accept that life is a mystery, where there is not answers to almost any questions actually. There's just like isness to be, and this spark of like excitement and exploration, that it's fun, that life is fun. Basically, life is a mystery, and it's about to be explored more than anything. It's more to be explored than maybe understood. So then there's also, of course, shifts in everyday life, like moving through doubt by making small steps, like of counteractivity. If we have self-doubt, we're not good enough, well, do it anyway and then see what happens. It doesn't have to be big things. It can be kind of small, practical steps. Also, if the mind gets overactive, like maybe first of all, finding your way of moving to that right side of the brain and moving into, because we also need, connected to the right side of the brain, we need to move into the body, we need to move into our heart, to our emotional field, because usually this overactivity happens in the mind. So we kind of need to move out of there. And again, create space. Sleep on things. Ask yourself, you have these two options. What feels most alive to me right now? Moving kind of from the Gemini analytical mind to the Sagittarius intuitive minds, like more like passion and fire. What feels more alive to me right now? Practical steps, emotional, looking into patterning kind of steps, working with the unconscious mind and beliefs, which can be a big factor in this. And we're going to have lots of opportunity to do this, because there's going to be a lot of activation around this. It already is. We have been having the South Node in Virgo for quite some time, which is basically taking in the karmic aspects of it all, and looking into these, where am I not good enough, kind of perfectionist questions. We have, again, like I said, Uranus moving into Gemini, which is about, like, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury and Gemini. So really going into the unconscious and allowing us to be liberated from this suffering and attachment to this like doubt, instead allowing it to be there, but also creating this higher version that we go beyond, preferably into Wonderment then. And then we also have this, all of this Aries movement, which is the Aries and Libra axis, around, am I allowed to take up space? This kind of questions, and to be assertive, which is also the balance then, to be assertive but still be open for questioning things. So it's an interesting time when it comes to doubt. And I think we all, I mean, obviously we all carry it because it's a biological feature. So depending on how you relate to it, how to move with it in the best way possible. So I will be having an online gathering. We're going to breathe for Wonderment, which is a wonderful place to be. And I also have a small little package helping or re-inspiring to ground, which is in my online shop. So links below to all of this. And of course, I have my both standalone one-to-one sessions, where we either breathe or we talk, or I guide you through a small journey, a process, an energy shift. And then I also have the longer journeys, which is what I work most of the time with, which is either 1 month, 3 sessions, or 3 months and 9 sessions, where we kind of continuously work with a specific intention. So all of that is on my website. Have a look and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye. It's very useful.